I graduate, I get out, get my master's degree in 2008, just as the economy is completely bottoming out, which is actually a great time to start a business.
What type of business you start?
Teaching hostage negotiation, solving business problems with hostage negotiation strategy.
Had anyone ever done this before?
No, it's very hard.
You've got to educate people on the similarity between the two seemingly disparate disciplines.
Right. A couple of things. First, that there's a similarity, and secondly, it'll apply in their world.
Mm-hmm.
People are afraid. What I find utterly fascinating is people aren't afraid to fail, but they're afraid to fail in a new way.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody understands that failure is part of the game, and that they're not always going to be successful. But it's stunning to get someone to be willing to fail in a new way, because I think they feel like there'll be a lot. How could you have done that? That was if that made any sense to use hostage negotiation in business, then everybody'd be doing it.
Why wouldn't someone have done it?
Yeah. Why isn't it already being done? And what people don't understand is, other than the highly successful people, that's a recipe for mediocrity.
Oh, yeah. The idea of you writing a book becomes, I guess, first your idea. Is that true?
Well, I always had that idea.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to make sure that we fully adapted what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I caught a break, and I got asked to teach in the MBA program at Georgetown. Fantastic place to teach.
Right.
You produce. They don't care how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't break the law. Don't do anything that would be inappropriate. Don't be unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, do what you want.
Got it.
If you want to teach people hostage negotiation skills, and tell them to go out and do that in their business dealings,
have at it.
And they like it. If your students learn, the criteria is, did your students learn?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to tell the university whether or not they learned.
Yeah. So do you then, in essence, get the idea to write a book based on that Georgetown experience?
After I'd been at Georgetown long enough, and we felt like we'd pretty much had an end-to-end doctrine, from beginning the opening stage of a negotiation to when you're sitting on the beach enjoying the fruits of your successful negotiation, that we could teach that end-to-end using every hostage negotiation skill. And I'd been collecting, I always made my students write very specifically designed papers about real, actual deals that they cut and which specific skills they used. And I've got a bank of probably about 500 papers using each specific skill, cutting deals and everything from $1 billion banking transaction to a husband and a wife negotiating over a Christmas tree.
Same principles.
Same principles.
Same principles. Okay, so when does the idea of a book become born in you?
Actually about 3 years ago.
What have you learned about writing a book in doing this?
It's worth having a good team instead of being determined that you have to do it by yourself.
Yeah. Do we have a title yet?
Never split the difference.
Never split the difference. Any subtitle?
Negotiating lessons from the FBI's lead international kidnapping negotiator.
Great. Published by?
Harper Business.
HarperCollins.
HarperCollins.
When you look at the world and the chaos and the terror and the beheadings and the ISIS, what keeps you up at night?
At different times, our response of being mystified by things that are repeating themselves. We think of a human generation basically as being, I don't know what it is, whether it's 20 years, whether it's 40 years. Our collective memories and institutions, society tends to be 5.
Mm-hmm.
So that anything that hasn't happened in the last 5 years, people have completely forgotten. It's out of their memory. Everything that was going on happened with ISIS a year and a half ago with the beheadings of the Americans. That's a repetition of 2004. And And the number of government officials that
So
said,
when we're sitting at home watching on the internet, these things that we couldn't even comprehend as unthinkable, barbaric acts, these are things that you saw.
yeah, we went through the cycle once. And we dealt with it in a certain way. And to hear Secretary of Defense saying, we've never seen anything like this before. And, or anybody else at a high level in government. And when they said that, I thought, oh my God, how can they be that uninformed?
Chris, this book may well change your life in another direction, to another chapter. What is it that you hope your life will look like 5 years from now? Professionally and personally. I don't want just to...
Professionally, I would like to see hostage negotiators across the country, former hostage negotiators, helping people getting better at business negotiation.
So your firm, Black Swan Limited.
Black Swan Group. The
Black Swan Group.
Right.
Black Swan Group is a company devoted to teaching businesses how to become better negotiators.
Right.
Will you be in the consumer business at some point, teaching consumers how to be better negotiators?
Right, yes. Yeah.
This life of yours, it was very unexpected, wasn't it?
Yeah. I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
If someone got to know you well, most people watching this show would love to meet you, but will never have the opportunity. And if they knew you well, what would they be surprised to know? They have an archetype of what an FBI hostage negotiator is like. What would they be surprised to find out about you?
Hostage negotiation is really about integrity. And a lot of people think negotiation is about bluffing and maybe not having integrity. Or even, you know, the line that I hated the most from the movie The Negotiator was Samuel Jackson and Kevin Spacey. Samuel Jackson's wife in the movie says to him, well, you're a negotiator, you lie for a living. And I don't believe in lying.
In the short term, in the next 5 years, are you an optimist or a pessimist?
The next 5 years, I think, I'm concerned it will be a mess.
In the next 25 years, are you an optimist or pessimist?
I'm excited about where we're going.
That's exactly my view.
Absolutely excited.
Chris, thanks for being here, and thank you for sharing with such vulnerability and authenticity and transparency your journey, your life. I'm anxiously awaiting your book.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much.